Handa ka na bang pumasa sa exam? Handa ka na matuto? Wala na tayo. Let's start!
Two very boring minutes later.
Bakit? Ayaw pa rin? Bakit kaya?
One eternity later.
Baka kasi hindi ka pa nag-like at subscribe. Like and subscribe mo na yan. Share mo na rin to sa mga hindi pa marunong mag-English. Let's go! Okay, start tayo. Okay, so katulad nga ng sinabi natin, lessons with Sir Mil. So kung ano man yung mga pinagsasasabi ninyo sa comment polls, again, yun ang nilalagay natin dito sa video lesson. Start tayo. So, ang unang tanong na binigay sa atin sa ating comment, basahin natin. Sir, yung subscript po, yung i-identify po kung ano ang NP, kung ilang NP, ganun po, sir. Ganun. So, start tayo kung paano to. O, first sentence natin, tignan nyo Jumila is the heartbreaker in her town. Wow naman. Okay. So, paano po ba ito gagawing underlying structure? And paano ang subscripts? First, assume natin na wala pang subscripts or numbers here beside the phrase. So, Jumila, again, is the noun phrase or considered as a noun phrase, di naman siya verb. And then, is then considered as MVP or again, it's called as the main verb phrase followed by the heartbreaker which is now another noun. So, assume na ulit natin na wala yung one dyan. And in her town, which is now an adverbial phrase or an adverb phrase of place. Now, tingnan natin. Kung titingnan nyo yung nasa third na part, nilagay ko dito, Jumila is equal to the heartbreaker. Bakit? Parehas ba sila ng tinutukoy? Jumila, again, is described as the heartbreaker. So, a person, okay? The heartbreaker is considered here as a person, as a noun. Therefore, both of them focuses on the same referent, which is Jumila as the person, thus having the same subscript. Kaya nga siya ulit nilagyan ng NP1 ay dahil it refers to both Jumila. Jumila as the person and Jumila as the heartbreaker. So, heartbreaker, sana wag lahat. Next tayo. Pedro, makinig ka. Pedro made a dress as a gift during the seminar. So, let's see again the underlying structure below. Pedro, again, is an NP, made, MVP, address. Now, NP pa rin siya kasi nga, again, it refers to a noun. But let's assume wala pa muna yung subscripts. As a gift. Bakit siya as a gift na PP? Kasi there is the presence now of as. Okay? A gift. During the seminar. So, adverb of time. So, kailan ginawa? Again, during the seminar. So, ito ngayon si Pedro. Pedro, again, as the first NP here, is not equal to, ayan na, ang ginamit nating symbol, address. Tignan mong maigi si Pedro. Mukha ba siyang damit? Kung mukha siyang damit, lagyan natin to ng NP1. Pero dahil hindi, at magkaibang bagay itong dalawang to, isa'y tao, isa'y bagay, at hindi kayo bagay, NP2. Okay? So, referring to two distinct references. Paturo naman kung paano. Okay? Ayan. So, yun yung kailangan nating tandaan, class, every time we're making these subscripts all together for the underlying structure of the sentence. So, again, ang tanong natin, i-identify po kung ano yung NP at kung ilang NP. Nasagot na ba? Sana naman. Okay. Let's continue to the next part. Sa type 1 po ba, sir? Pwede po bang two verbs? And paano po ililabel? Ang sagot dyan, iha? Hins pwede. Bakit nga ba? what we can remember on type 1, again, it is said that it is a sentence with an intransitive verb without an S. Diba? So, with the 5 basic sentence types given to us, we have not yet discussed there that it should contain 2 verbs. Pero still, kung paano natin gagawin ito, let's look onto the next slide. In English, it's possible. Diba? We always use this structure essentially if there is the presence of another verb or another action in the sentence. Such with the example, May bought a phone and used it well. Sana all may pambili. Oh, si May, again, is considered as an NP. Okay? And then, bought, VP, kasi hindi na natin siya matatawag as the main verb phrase because we're assuming 2 verbs here. A phone, which is another NP. This time it's NP2 kasi it's different from May. And, which is a conjunction, therefore putting C. Used, which is now VP. It, NP2. Bakit NP2? Again, it refers to the phone. And, well, as an adverb, again, talking about how the phone was used. Okay? So this time, gawa na tayo ng puno. Shall we? Let's now move to... Okay, sige mga paslupa. Let's now try to make the tree. Okay. So, our sentence, as mentioned in the slide presentation was, May bought a phone and used it as well. So, you can remember that the usage of C there, or the conjunction and, is used to connect the 2 actions, bought and used. So, of course, we'll start here on the first, which is the top node, and then let's go down there on the left, which we'll now call it on NP. Now, on the right side, this is where things will get a little tricky. So since we have there now, let's use that as MVP. Take note, this is not present in your sentence because there are 2 VPs there. And so, going down here first, let's divide them now into 3. Shall we? Okay. So, on the middle, it is very obvious that you'll need now to put there your C, which is the word end. Alright? Because again, it connects the 2 actions na mention natin kanina. Huwag nyo nang pakialaman kung bakit ganyan yung drawing. Okay, so let's do first now put 2 VPs. Alright, there, VP. Okay, so basically we can also put subscripts here such as VP1 and VP2 so that we will not get confused on what action are we referring here. Is it the action of buying or the action of using? Okay? So, yan. So, pwede tayong bumaba here probably a little bit so that you can see it further how it's done. Okay. So, again, it's now buying a phone. Alright, so let's now drag us here again onto the left, which is then your B. And then, go here now, would be again your NP. Okay, and then dragging there down again. There we go. And then let's move down again, shall we? There we go. And then, oops. Alright. So the next one will be, what was that again? A phone. Alright, sorry for that. So, let's use DEP. Yan. And then, noun. So, let's save the trouble of putting the words later. Right? So, ganyan natin. Yan. And yan. Okay, dito tayo sa kabila. Okay, there we go. Same process. So, you'll also put V and then NP there. Alright, and do the same thing. Put it down there and then divide this into 2 constituents. We have that, which is for... no, sorry. I think that was Yeah, an adverb, well. Sorry for that. Okay, so since this is now the case of having 3 different forms, so we'll rather erase this one and instead divide this into 3. Alright? So, try muna natin yung hampas lupa na yan. Okay, let's go back. Alright, so once again, let's divide that into 3. The first one here is now verb. The second here one is a NP, so to speak. And the last one would be your ABVP. Haba lang. Alright. Okay, then dragging that down, use it well. Okay? So, going up again, lagyan na natin to para yan, baba natin siya. Okay, so sa madaling salita, here's what we're going to do. So let's now put words here. Alright. So let's put that down there. Paano ba to? Okay, mukhang ayaw niyang magpa-galaw sa akin ng what do you call this one? The words. Sige lang kung ayaw niya. Let's put it in this way. Try natin. Okay, so kailangan lang pala niyang typean. Okay. And the next would be bought. Okay. Next would be a phone. Pabahay na natin. Okay. Yan. Bought a phone. And you have already the word end. Okay, followed by use it. Yan, para hindi na tayo type ng type. Okay, so for the convenience of spaces. Okay, there we go. And then another here. Alright, so let's drag that down. Oops. Okay, paano ba siya i-drag? Ayan. Okay. There we go. I think we're done. Okay, so there we go. So May bought a phone and used, oops, that's D. D. Alright. So May bought a phone and used it well. So that's how we do the structure tree itself. Alright, I hope you can see this well. Again, May bought a phone and used it well. So clear tayo dun ha. Okay, let's start. So, the next part now of our discussion are the following questions na pinaglalagay naman na natin. Basic sentence transformation, sir. Okay. Sir, more samples po sana ng phrase marker, blah, 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 blah. Basic sentence transformation. Okay. Teka. Illustration of the diagramming negative sentence and rewriting sentences as a WH question. Talagang gusto natin to. Okay, so sige, let's now discuss basic sentence transformations. Hindi pa pala tapos. Okay, sige, more samples. Let's now first look onto negative sentences. Yan. Ikaw, Alan, makinig ka rin dito. Alan must have been fishing. Our rule is that we put the word not or yung ating negative word not after the first auxiliary. Teka, pangit ng ating pointer. Yan. Alright. And as you might have noticed, again, the presence now of your first auxiliary must there, based on the rules, should now follow or should now be placed with the word not after it. So, Alan must not have been fishing as compared to Alan must have been fishing. And so, this is how again we create the underlying structures and be prepared on how we make this, especially during examinations. Now, let's now try to make the trees of this one, shall we? Alright, let's do this. Okay, let's try now the sentence na nandun kanina, which is Alan must have been fishing. So, of course, we will now be presenting the negative transformed sentence of Alan must have been fishing. So, the sentence was Alan must not have been fishing. first, let's now start using, again, to write here. Alright? Essentially, this is an S1 sentence. But, either way, kahit wala yan, we will accept that. Okay, so, what is next to do? So, first, lagyan natin siya ng NP dito, which goes for Alan. Okay, so this is now, again, where the tricky part starts. So, if earlier, what we did was we placed the MVP on the top part because, again, there are two VPs there, or two verbs, two verb phrases. Therefore, this time, let's now first start with a VP. Don't forget this. Followed now by MVP. Okay, there we go. Alright, so the next one now is, let's now head to the auxiliary part. Okay, so I think medyo kukulangan tayo ng space. So, let's move a little bit farther pababa. Hold on. There we go. Okay, and don't forget to put here the main verb again on the right side. There we go. Okay, MB. I hope you're still following. Okay, AINT. This is an intransitive verb. Alright, so our word here now is fishing. Alright, so let's put that later. So the tricky part starts on auxiliary. So moving now to auxiliary. Okay, first off, you have your first word must, right? So now your word must should then be placed here first on the most left side. So let's put there again the word must later, and then right after that we will now place another constituent here, which then equals to neg, or your negative word not. Okay, yan. So next natin, again, of course, you then need to put there your perfect. Alright. So, perfect. Hirap mag-drawing talaga, no? But I hope I have at least a whiteboard just to show you. But unfortunately, things are not just good. Okay, so that's perfect. And then the last one now would be to show here progressive. Okay, so let's just try. Baka naman mas madali. Progressive. Okay, I think this is better. Alright, let's put that there. Okay, so the main problem now here is more on the dragging down. So I think we can extend now the NP there kasi medyo kukulangin tayo ng space. Let's do that. Okay, oops, sorry for that. Then let's extend here way down there. Alright, so that's NP. By the way, you can fix the tree for yourself. Ang hirap dito. Okay, so again, here's Alan. Right? And then, here is now where we drag that down. As you might have noticed, again, hindi na tayo naglagay ng any constituent here. That's because it's understood that it is, again, part of auxiliary. So, we can do that. So, again, moving down. And then, let's move it down there. Down. And then, down. Okay. So, again, let's now try to put the sentence. Our sentence there again is, Alan must not have been fishing. Okay? Sounds a little weird, but still, the sentence is grammatically correct. Right. So, let's move there. Alan must not have been. Try to make that a little further. Try to move that now. Oops, I think it lacks space. Lagyan natin ng space dito. Sana all my space. Okay, must not have. Oops. Extend natin dito para umabot. Okay. Must not have been. Okay. And then, yan. The last one would be fishing, of course. Okay, that's where you put now dito sa ating MVINT. Alright. So again, Alan must not have been fishing. Okay, of course, if you just need to transform it back to its positive counterpart, things are a bit easy now. We just need now to remove this constituent. Alright? Transforming it now to Alan must have been fishing. Oops, sorry for that. Right. So, positive. Let's remove this one. Ayan, nawala pala lahat. Alright, so let's just remove this one. There. Ayan. Assuming that it's not anymore present, Alan must have been fishing. That's how we do it. Okay? So, moving forward now to the next part of our discussion. Okay, so here we are now on the next part, which is the interrogative sentences. And again, as mentioned in your discussions, there are two basic types of interrogative sentences. The first one, which is what we have here, the yes or no questions. What we have here are the three examples or the three types of examples presented to you. Yung una, makikita nyo, what if the one that has been used there is an auxiliary? Ayan, the word has. So of course, by rules, we first need to identify what is the first auxiliary present in the sentence. Now, kapag na-identify mo na yon, again, place it there into the beginning. But now on the second sentence, as we can look, Carlo is working out, wala siyang auxiliary. Only the linking verb or the be verb is. Which is why it is still considered pag walang auxiliary, use the be verb, place it in the beginning. And there you go, you already have a transformed sentence. By the way, itong nasa baba class, ito yung mga answers natin for the questions. Okay? In order for us to transform the interrogative sentences. Okay? Alright, and the last one would be Carlo worked out at Gold's Gym. So, did Carlo work out at Gold's Gym? The reason for this one, again, we don't have any auxiliary nor be verbs here, which is why, again, we have put here the dummy do did. So, it's did because your verb here is in its past tense, therefore, you need to use did. Now, one common problem for some who are also using English is that they also tend to make this verb here in its past form. However, again, that's the reason why you're using the dummy do. Para hindi ka na magpakahirap to think of what the past form is. Because pag gumamit ka ng dummy do, dapat yung verb mo ay base form. Malinaw yun, di ba? Again, you use dummy do. In the dummy do, you show the tense, and then the verb will always be in its base form. Alright? So, ready? Trees naman tayo ngayon. Alright? Let's do this. Okay, to start. So, let's now make the phrase structure trees on the first sentence, Carlo has been working out. To start off, of course, let's put the top note here. Sorry. So, yan. So, we have S. And then now, as to follow, since our first auxiliary has been the word has, so lalagay kagad natin siya on the top left, which is then your aux. There we go. Okay, and then since it is in its perfect form, therefore, type na lang natin, we're going to put there perfect. Okay, there you have it, the word perfect, which will then lead us down to your word has. Now, to go further, let us now look on this one. Okay, since again, Carlo is considered as an NP, therefore, you're going to put it here. Alright, let's move it down just for now as Carlo. And then, let's now move to the VP. Alright, so it's now a constituent to the right. And then, we place there first VP. Okay, followed by, this time, there we go. Let's now write here MVP. Remember, our sentence is has Carlo been working out? Okay. And then, going down, let's use the, hold on, zoom out. There. That's better. Okay. Now, the next thing that we need now to put there is the constituent ox. Okay, ox. Then, followed by your MV, which is then their main verb. And by the way, this is, you can just put there the subscript int or for intransitive verb, right? Which is working out. Okay. And then, of course, last part, which is, hold on. Sorry. So I think we don't have any other constituents to put here. So let's just put that on a straight line later on. Let us remove that again. Okay, let's repeat. Okay, we have MVP and put their ox. Then on the right side, we put their MV INT. So this is now pretty easy as to what we're going to put. Okay, so creating lines so that we can now finally put the words. Oops, I almost forgot. Again, we need to put the progressive part there, which is again here, there. Let's type progressive because again has been working out. Okay, progressive, get there, progressive. Okay, and then let's just make a straight line going down. Go. Alright, so finally we are to write the following words for the sentence. As, then another one here, Carlo. Oops. Then next one, Jin. Then the last one, working out. Okay. So there you have it. You have your following sentences or following words for the sentence, has Carlo been working out? So essentially that is how we do it here. And so if we'll now proceed to the next part, or to the next sentence, which is Carlo working out? So it's also the same way, but we're just going to change some parts of these. The first one, let's change this one. Since the sentence there is Carlo working out? So you need to change that into present. This one now becomes is, oops, right? And then for this, let's now try to change it only into one single word here, or one single constituent, which is working out. Okay, essentially we can just put there VP just to replace this one, since this is no longer, or it would be now a different type. So let's remove it. Okay, this might take a while. Then let's remove the following words. Okay, this one as well. Okay, then put that in the middle and to easily put a line, and there you have it. So this is now the second sentence, is Carlo working out? Okay, so essentially again, why are we not dividing the two of them? It's because again we are considering this one as a verb cluster, or again words that should comprise of words that will complete the idea of the verb. Again, this will not be separated from one another. Okay, and so to continue further, the next sentence that we have now is did Carlo work out at Gold's Gym? Okay, now to continue, do this. Let me just remove the others. Okay, going back here, again, this is now the third sentence, which is, did Carlo work out at Gold's Gym? So I already did the other parts, which is this one. All we need now to do is the VP part. Of course, oops, let's now continue using the pen. Alright, so the remaining words that we have are work out at Gold's Gym. Okay, so of course, let's start with MVP here. So then let's move it now here, which is again verb, which is now work out, and then let's now put here A, B, B. Or essentially we can put the subscript EL beside it. Okay, so basically on what we do before in the first part of our discussions, we usually draw the triangle so that it will give us the benefit of easily putting the words or the remaining words. And so simply put there, we have work out. Take note that it's already understood that it's on its past form because of the auxiliary past. Did Carlo work out? And then the next one would be at the gym, or sorry, at Gold's Gym. Right. So let's place that there, and there you have it. Okay, did Carlo work out at Gold's Gym? So I hope that solves how we are able to put there the following words or sentences which are necessary for your interrogative sentences. Now for the next part of the discussion, we have interrogative sentences on now the WH questions. If you can quickly remember that there is the summary of interrogative words which we are able to use as to replace the what we call as unknown or indefinite words. So it's always necessary to identify this unknown information in the sentence so that we'll know exactly what kind of WH question should we be making. Such, with the presence of the word something there, we already know that what we're talking about here is indefinite or it's not known. So with that, there's already that clue that this should be used with the interrogative word what. And so the first step, insert do if required, move first auxiliary or the main verb if there is no auxiliary to the front of the sentence. And since our question from earlier was something was causing her to forget, and your auxiliary there is considered with was, since again there's no other auxiliary present. So with the usage now of the linking verb was transferred into the beginning or to the front of the sentence, we have done step 1. Easy, right? Next step, substitute the appropriate WH word. As mentioned earlier, again, we've identified something as the indefinite or unknown word, which is why we need to substitute it with knowing something is equivalent to what, which will be as a replacement for a person or an object. And so, to follow now step number 3, move the WH word to the front of the sentence. So, instead of using something, you replace it with what, moving it into the front of the sentence, and there you have it. As we read it, it is what was causing her to forget. Again, we followed the notion that something there replaces your word, or the word what there replaces your word something. Okay? So I hope that gives light for all of us. Okay? So, next one, let's now discuss what we need to do for interrogative sentences WH questions. Exercise for now. So I'd like you now to think carefully what we need to do here, or how do we transform these into WH questions.
And since you can no longer wait, I probably believe that it's now the time for us to reveal the answers.
The first one, again, we have there the presence of the word had. Therefore, it is to be placed after the WH question. And with your WH question where, again, it answers the indefinite word somewhere. Now, the real problem here now is on number 2. Again, we've mentioned that the first one after your WH question should be the auxiliary or the main verb. However, in this case, you might have noticed that else is preceded by who. Who else, right? And it's very uncommon if we would say who knew else, right? Because this is one exemption of the rule. Again, if you're using else there, always put it after the interrogative word. Okay, since we are now to write the 3 for the first sentence, her teacher had put the sheet music somewhere. So let's start by first showing you how it is being transformed, right? You can remember how it was done by your classmates, but let me somehow show it to you. Alright, so the first one, since the first words or the first set of words are her teacher, therefore this one goes here as an NP. Okay, NP, and then followed by, of course, don't forget that it should always be VP. Alright, so that's NP and VP. And then going here now, this will be a very long process. The first one would be, of course, your MVP, followed by, alright, your auxiliary. This is the most crucial part of the MVP, especially if you're really showing how it's made of. And then this is now the fun part. Let us now zoom out a little bit and let's try to go down. Alright, so the next one, since you will want to make this into a WH question, that should be the left part, which is right there, WHQ. Right, so that means you're turning it into a WH question. The next one, since you're now going to put there the auxiliary present, so therefore, oops, let's just write that later, and then we have to put there had. Okay, sorry for that if I have not written it is quite long. Okay, the next one there should be perfect. Okay, moving that here. Go. Then by tense, we already know that because of the perfect had, we'll now proceed to move it there. Okay, go. And then the tense, which is past, let's drag that down. Again, we'll put here past. Okay. Alright. And so, let's now put it here. Then there we have tense. Oops. Down. There we go. Okay, so we're now complete with the auxiliary. Now the real process here next is to drag down the verb. Alright, so if you can remember, our verb there is the word put. Okay, so to leave it be first, let's write MV. Okay, don't worry about the subscripts. They will come later on once we get to discover what's it and what's not. So, had, again, it's the word put. Sorry, I almost forgot. So it's the word put. Where's the word put? Okay, put. Go. Had put. Then the next words, or the next set of words, the sheet music somewhere. Alright, so now place it, okay, onto here, which is now an NP, and we can just put that on a triangle because it might be long. Sheet music, and then with the presence now of somewhere. Alright, somewhere is not just an ordinary noun, therefore, moving to it, there we go, and then draw a line. There we go. Right, I think that's better. Let's drag this down as well. Oops. Wait, long. Okay, and then I said somewhere is not just your ordinary noun. So again, by the presence of somewhere, it could be an actual place. Others might debate it could be an adverb, but with the rules of categories, right, we know that a place is still considered as a noun. So to put an end into this debate, let's put that as NP still. Okay, let's drag that down. Okay, then finally end up, here we have the text. Alright, her teacher. Let's write it down. Oops. Her teacher. Okay, then the next one, the next word is the sheet music. Sheet music. Then here we go. Then the last one, somewhere. Okay. Alright. And since now, class, we have here 3 different NPs. Okay. This is now the part where we put the subscripts. In relation to the first one that I have discussed with you, you can put the subscripts later after you have finished the entire tree, since again, it will take much of your time to decide what it is. Okay, so this will become the easier manner. We have NP1, NP2, her teacher, the sheet music, and 3, somewhere. Alright, so this is now your sentence when it is still on the process of being transformed. Now, to move closer, let's now remove everything and let's start over. This time, putting NP3 onto the first part. Alright? So if you can remember, based now from your discussions, again, the WH question should now be placed first. Okay? Alright, let's now remove it. Where's the eraser? Okay. We're not removing the other words there so that it can just be placed easily. Let's just remove the constituents. Right? Okay, I think we're almost done. Hold on. Okay. So, oops, sorry, was not able to remove this. Then tense. Alright, so also this one would now be changed into where. Alright, okay, then this time let's get ready to let's get ready to put this one here, this one, let's just change this into okay. Right. And then don't forget the word put. Then lastly, okay, we have the presence of the word had. Okay. So again, the sentence is supposedly, where had her teacher put the sheet music? Okay, so let's now make this properly into its structure tree.
teacher put the sheet music. Oops, there we go. Alright. So, remember now this time that put, okay, put there again is your verb, her teacher is the noun, and then had again, and where is now your NP3. Her teacher, NP1, the sheet music, NP2, where, NP3. So let's do that. Alright, for the first one, we have here NP3, okay, and then followed by have box, get, that is the auxiliary. The next one, her teacher, which is another NP. Take note, by the way, class, that there is no actual division as to where the constituents are going on. It's just that all of the sentences or all of the constituents are going towards the S as compared to its declarative form. And then we have here your PP, okay? PP. Then here we have NP still, okay? So to put the subscripts, we have 2, we have 1, and we have 3. Alright, so again, to use this one, we have, let's drag it down, NP3, where, okay, and then with the presence of the word ox, okay, we can still put here using the word or the constituent perfect so that you won't get confused on what auxiliary are we using here. So let's use word perfect. Oops. And still drag that down. Add, then NP1 still going there. Then still this time with your VP, don't forget that you need now to put VP and then MVP, right? And then use the MV transitive. Okay, and then drag it down and drag that down. It's quite a long process when we're doing it in Microsoft Whiteboard, but this is now the actual tree which you can refer to essentially when you are making now the structure tree. Okay, please don't forget as to how it is made, and it can all be used for the remainder of your examples. Okay. Oops, I almost forgot. Oops, let us put this here so that you can still see. Okay, where had her teacher put the sheet music? Okay. Okay, if still we were not able to cover some of the lessons that you still want to be discussed, you can still message me for other questions that you need to clarify on, and most especially for the things that you're puzzled of, so that we can solve it easily before your examination. So this will now end our video lesson. I hope you have learned something from the supplementary lesson that I have presented for all of you. Don't forget to be safe, and see you when I see you. Bye!